Hey everyone, Glacier here. Welcome back to Vincent the Secret of Myers. You know what, we're making this quick. I'm gonna cut ahead to once we beat the puzzle, and then we're gonna continue from there. So, see you all in a second. Hey chat, I'm back. I called Anticus, and she told me that I was a little bit silly and stupid, but we figured it out. So, this is the order. Green for tree goes first, blue for water goes second, yellow for the moon goes third, and then fourth, fire, red. So then we go over here. We do green first, then we do water, then we do moon, and then we do the circle. It worked! I can't believe it! You're incredible! Zalmona. Actually, wait, screw you. What's this story lead to? The room behind the door was much darker. My eyes had a hard time adjusting to the sudden darkness. What was that? I just stepped on some kind of wet, sticky substance. I bent down and tried to reach for it, but my arm was nicked by something sharp. Ouch! Are these shards of glass? That was when I suddenly realized that there was a huge glass chamber standing in front of me. And inside it was... a cyborg! Get back! Get back! Thank God! It looks like that thing's dead. Look, look there! Someone's in there! Huh? Someone's in that glass chamber in the middle. Oh, that's probably just a cyborg too. A cyborg? But they look as if they're... Detective, didn't you know? There are many kinds of cyborg. Many kinds? What do you mean? I'm not really an expert myself, but let me just read this part out for you. With that, Zalmona took a journal from her pocket. Oh no. Due to different bodies' varying ability to withstand semi-mechanization, the phenomenon of intellectual polarization often appears in each batch of experimental studies. Actually, wait, she's supposed to be reading it. Subjects that are able to withstand mechanization generally retain human facial features, and with their newly modified bodies, they exhibit superhuman abilities superior to those of normal humans. On the other hand, subjects that failed to successfully withstand mechanization exhibited severe intellectual degradation, thus making them behave like wild beasts. At the same time, the bodies of these failed subjects would exhibit an obvious rejection of mechanization, resulting in them often giving their impression that they were falling apart. We refer to these cyborgs that have lost their intelligence as husks. It is worth noting, however, that some of the experimental subjects seem to require an acclimation period. That is, their bodies exhibit repulsion similar to that of a husk when they first undergo mechanization, but as long as they're fed regularly and are given ample time, eventually their bodies will be able to successfully accept the modifications they are given. Thus, after each batch of experimental subjects has been modified, we tend to leave them in the secret chamber for a period of observation. If, after that time, the subject still does not demonstrate signs of successful mechanization, we would then dismember it and dump its body parts in the wastewater pool outside the G4 district. The above was recorded in an experimental journal I found here at the corporation. In other words, there are two kinds of cyborgs. The first kind looks like a monster because its body could not withstand mechanization, and the other is able to retain its intelligence and look exactly like a normal person because it's been successfully transformed? Yes, but not only that. Pay attention to this next part. Since often only a small number of subjects possess the ability to withstand mechanization, we often have to dismember and discard most of the cyborgs in the chamber, and this is definitely very costly and burdensome for us. Therefore, thanks to the tireless efforts of several researchers, we have successfully developed a method to create new types of cyborgs through genetic cloning technology. Oh no. As a result, we no longer need to search for the minority that can withstand mechanization in batch after batch of experimental subjects. All we need to do is extract the genes of the subjects that have been successfully modified, and then we can produce them again. Nonetheless, since these new cyborgs do not possess any memory, we need to install a memory core inside them, giving them memories that do not exist, thus giving them a unique personality. These memories can be extracted from any existing employees to achieve the desired personality. In other words, there are cyborgs that are not directly modified from human beings, but are created through genetic cloning technology. That's... that... oh no. That's what Draco is. Draco is a genetically cloned cyborg, I bet. But it's hard to tell them apart by just looking at them. You mean, is it possible there are cyborgs lurking around that look just like us ordinary humans? Yes, in a manner of speaking. A cyborg. Thank goodness it's dead. A glass chamber. In it stands a cyborg that looks just like a human being. This gives me the creeps. A glass chamber. There's nothing in it. A blackboard. There's a lot of diagrams and text marked on it. Detective, you see this string of numbers in the upper right corner? 127. I'm gonna want to screenshot that, aren't I, for later use. Is this decimal to binary conversion? Correct! The binary numeral system is widely used in computing technology to represent numbers with just two symbols, 0 and 1. For example, in binary, 110 means 0 plus 1 times 2 plus 1 times 2 times 2, which is 6 in decimal. Why? And 111 means 1 plus 1 times 2 plus 1 times 2 times 2, which is 7 in decimal. I see. In other words, we need to find the corresponding experimental subject number in binary. Oh no. System error, invalid subject number. Okay. Okay, I can't use that anyway. Saying he's subject number 1, so it'd be 001. What am I doing? That was different. The containment unit for subject number 5 is empty. Oh, okay. Command received, draining the containment unit for subject number 3. I'm not gonna lie, I was just guessing, because I don't know binary. Let me guess, that's me? The already stifling atmosphere intensified as we caught the first glimpse of what was inside the glass chamber. Zamona was horrified at first, but her expression quickly changed to worry. But it was if we had mutually agreed not to say anything to each other beforehand. We just stood in silence. I could sense Salmona staring right at me, but at that moment I was completely focused on the cyborg in front of me. Let's do this then. Okay. Oh no. I took the scalpel that Salmona handed to me and started making deep cuts into the cyborg's body. Why are we doing this? Again and again and again. I felt emotions that I had never felt before welling up inside me. But all Salmona did was just stare. She didn't utter a word. Before I realized it, the cyborg's chest was shredded to pieces, and revealed beneath her skin was a peculiar spherical device. I grabbed the sphere with my bare hand and pulled it out. This is what you wanted, right? The cyborg's memory core? Yes. You just tore that out with your bare hand. I handed it to Zalmona with my blood-soaked hand. Let's get the heck out of here. I can't stand it in here anymore. Detective, are you alright? Detective? Stop calling me detective. You don't even know who I am. You saw it too. That cyborg we just saw, she looked exactly like me. I don't even know who you are, Zalmona. I don't remember anything at all. I thought coming here would find me the answers I wanted, but now I just feel completely lost. I could be someone who doesn't even exist, just one of a million other identical cyborgs. Draco was right all along. I shouldn't even be here to begin with. Even with my sudden breakdowns, Zalmona didn't show 1 ounce of anger with me. After a moment of silence, she started to speak. You feel that the truth you seek is meaningless now, don't you? You've lost all hope because you're worried that you're merely a replica. But you shouldn't let your past define you. You're right, there's no way to be certain if you are or aren't the detective I met. But whoever each of us is up to us. The moment you open your eyes, you are who you are, and not anyone else. So what if there's someone else somewhere in the world who looks exactly like you? It's each of our own unique experiences that make up who we are, isn't it? At this moment, only you and I are standing here. This experience belongs to just us, and no one else. What motivates each of us to go on with our lives is the countless exciting possibilities that lie in store. And in the near future, you are bound to meet new people and make new friends. And maybe they'll become your new family. People who are willing to sacrifice their lives for you. People who would sacrifice their lives for me? Salmona's words were somehow very reassuring. It was very different from how I imagined her to be. I never thought I'd hear such words from you. Probably something I picked up during my previous profession. Huh? Don't worry too much about it. It's irrelevant now. Anyway, thanks a lot for your help. You have no idea how important this device is to me. Salmona, why do you need the cyborg's memory core? It's a long story. You said you've lost all your memories, but seeing that you found your way into Myers, I think it's safe to assume that you've heard the urban legends about the G4 district. G4 district's urban legend? Do you mean the infamous G4 cyborg incident? Close, but I'm thinking particularly about the end of that legend. It should sound something like this. To this day, people still mysteriously vanish in the G4 district. Rumor says that the spirits of the victims from the experiments are still wandering the streets, taking the lives of those unfortunate enough to cross paths with them. Ah, I remember. Right. And you don't need to tell me that ghosts don't exist. These recent disappearances in the G4 district are the deliberate work of a certain someone as well. Are you suggesting that Myers Corporation is behind these recent disappearances as well? The Myers Corporation that is continuing operations covertly? Yeah, something like that. But here's the thing. A lot of details about these cases are different from the original G4 cyborg incident. In the G4 incident, Myers Corporation turned their own employees into cyborgs, kidnapped ordinary citizens to use as cattle feed. But most of the people who go missing nowadays aren't ordinary citizens. I can't speak. It's people who either had a history with Myers or are former employees of Myers. Did Myers Corporation turn them into cyborgs as well, or were they just used as cattle feed? If they were all once somehow associated with Myers, it makes sense that Myers would simply want them gone. Precisely! But many people believe that this series of disappearances is just the work of one person, a dangerous criminal who's extremely careful, so much so that they've never left a single fingerprint behind, or clue as to what really happened to their victims. And this person is known as the most wanted criminal in the G4 district. As for how they're connected to Myers, no one's really sure, but there is one person who has seen them that is still alive. Only one person? Who is that? That person is me. Yes, the most wanted criminal in the G4 district messed up once, and I was there when it happened. It was a dark and windy night. I just gotten back to my apartment building and was about to go inside my apartment to relax. But as I was walking past an apartment on the same floor, the power went out. The hallway was enveloped in complete darkness. I couldn't see anything around me. Just then, I heard blood-curdling screams accompanied with what sounded like flesh being torn off the bone from the apartment next to me. A person rushed out of the apartment and brushed past me. They were in such panic that I wasn't even sure if they noticed my presence. Shortly afterwards, the power came back on, but that person was long gone. This would make a great background image. Oh, and the hallway that had been spotless beforehand was completely different after the power was restored. The walls and floor were painted red with blood, and the apartment's door, which had previously been closed, was half ajar. Holy crap, this is serious! Without thinking much, I pushed open the rest of the apartment. Nope, pushed open the door of the apartment to check in on my neighbor. And what I saw before me, your neighbor's dead, was the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life. A man on the floor, his body shredded to bits. The room was strewn with pieces of his body and entrails, but that wasn't even the worst part. The scariest thing was, even though his head was completely detached from his body, his mouth was still opening and closing, as if he were desperately trying to catch his breath. Hey, hang in there! I'll call an ambulance right away. What are they gonna do? I impulsively rushed to help him, even though I knew very well that it was much too late. Just then, some of the neighbors had heard the scream and rushed over. My attempts to help the victim were misunderstood. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Murderer! She's a murderer! Grab her! Don't let her get away! Wait! I can explain! But it was too late for me to say anything. And then, what happened after that? After that, as embarrassing as it sounds, I became G4's most wanted criminal. Although I've managed to escape from the G4 police, it's getting so much harder to find a new apartment these days. But please believe me, I really wasn't the one who killed him. I wouldn't even hurt a fly. I believe you, Zamora. But then, you didn't actually get a good look at him either. Alright. The corridor was completely dark when I met him. I didn't get to see what he looked like either. If that's the case, how can you be so sure that this killer is the same person who's responsible for the recent series of disappearances in G4? Honestly, I can't. But I later learned that the victim, my neighbor, was Dr. Richard Amanon, a former employee of Myers. And, as always, the police found no fingerprints from any suspects on the scene. Of course, except for mine. That's too much of a coincidence, don't you think? So my guess is, the killer was originally going to kidnap Dr. Amanon and murder him somewhere else. But for some reason, he screwed up that time. So he killed Dr. Amanon in a hurry and ran away. And what's even more interesting is, the way Dr. Amanon was murdered is very similar to how the core members were killed in the G4 Cyborg incidents. They were all ripped to pieces. So it's quite possible that this is the same person who got away with killing the core members. Then the reason you were looking for the cyborg's memory core is... Yes, as I was saying, many of the victims of the recent unexplained disappearances have some connection to Myers. It's hard for me not to conclude that the murderer also has a very close relationship with Myers. And each of the cyborgs that Myers produced through cloning will have a memory core. Each device stores certain memories, giving the cyborgs the personalities they would lack otherwise. Most of these memories are extracted from Myers employees. I understand now. You want to find the real murderer by reading the memories in each memory core, thus proving your innocence. Exactly. Not just for my own sake, but also for the safety of the G4 district. I'll keep searching until I find out the truth, even if it's Myers Corporation who's behind all of this. I respect you. Alright, that's all I have to say. Anyway, thanks again for helping me out. Go ahead and take this key card. I took the key card to the legal department that Zalmona handed to me. But, are you still going to continue your investigation? You know, if you want to get out of here with me right now, that wouldn't be impossible. Huh? But isn't the gate to the lobby closed? I know, but the truth is, I accidentally forgot about this. Zalmona took a watch out of her pocket. A watch? Oh, darling, this watch is more than meets the eye. It was originally a gift from an old friend of mine, but I've made a few modifications to it. Just by wearing it, I can teleport myself anywhere. How did you forget about something this important? But the downside is, it can teleport me anywhere. What do you mean? As in, I can't decide where we'll be teleported to. I was once teleported inside a men's bathhouse. Incredibly embarrassing situation. But hey, this risks with anything, wouldn't you agree? So, are you gonna come with me? Let's get the heck out of here. I'm sorry, Zalmona. I can't leave just yet. There's this person that, even though I can't remember how we're connected or why, he was willing to risk his life for me. And that person's currently trapped in the Myers lobby. I'm worried about him. I see. Do you want me to come with you? No, Zalmona, that'd be too dangerous. This is all my fault. I should have never come here. I can't get another one of my friends involved. I don't want to see them get hurt. I understand. If that's the case, promise me that you'll take care of yourself. I hope we can meet again someday. Maybe then, you'll be able to tell me your real name. I'll see you later, Miss... When you get your memories back, be sure to tell me all those stories about your past, alright? Of course. Goodbye, Zalmona. She's gone. I wonder where she'll be teleported to this time. Plot twist, it's on the other side of this door. Well then, it's time for me to push forward as well. Next stop, the legal department. Chapter 3 end. Investigation completed. Successfully located the cyborg's memory core. Oh. Here we are. Legal department. It's hard to believe that Vincent used to work here. Huh? Wait a second. In the distance, is that an elevator? Zalmona told me the only way to get back to the Myers lobby now is to take the elevator to the basement and then return there from the other side. So it seems that this is what she was talking about. However, they've come a long way. Shouldn't I investigate this place first? But what's the point? I've now long lost the confidence I had when I was confronting Draco in the Myers lobby. I'm not sure if I want to know the truth anymore. You have to realize, losing your memories could also be a blessing. Countless people are imprisoned by their own memories. They try their best to let go, yet cling to them at the same time. But you, on the other hand, are given a second chance. Isn't that wonderful? I'll be honest, even I'm getting a bit jealous. How'd you end up here, Glant? How'd you end up here? Glant, I regret to inform you that I don't know either. The truth is, my butler was the one who heard peculiar knocking sounds on the door last night. When he went to open it, he saw you face down on the stairs, unconscious. Your seemingly commendable courage is nothing more than ignorance wrapped up in a pretty package. You have absolutely no clue what you're about to face. Do you really believe that you can face up to all the dangers that are coming your way? Do you really believe that you can accept the truth that will be revealed? Vincent, Victor, and Draco. How many lies are there all around me? Why is it like that? Why is everyone lying to me? Ever since I woke up in the mansion, I've been deceived again and again. Why are all of you lying to me? What am I doing? I don't have time to think about that right now. Since I'm already here, I might as well take a little look around first. Control was never mine to begin with. I started to briefly read through some of the documents I found. These documents from the legal department, I really don't understand them at all. Eh, hold on a second. The nameplate on this table, Vincent Odgeworth, Chief Legal Officer. So then, this used to be Vincent's office table? On the table was a note and a glove. The note looked brand new, and therefore seemed out of the place compared to the rest of the files here. Someone could have just recently left this here. Was Almona the one who put it here? I picked up the note from the desk. Dear my lovely Glant, how are you doing? I'm just joking. Of course I know you're not doing well, because you've lost all your memories. So, do you want to get all your memories back? I know you do. In that case, I've left you a small gift. I'm sure it'll help a lot in getting back what you want. An old friend who wishes to remain anonymous. A gift for me? You must be referring to the glove next to it. For some reason, I was blasted with a wave of anxiety. Objective, put on the glove. The message. Is there anything else to interact with? Nope. Should I put on the glove? What if I say no? Nothing. The glove fits my hand perfectly. Eh. Do you remember who you are? All hail Myers. Oh god. Do you still remember your purpose? All hail Myers. We all miss you so much. Hurry up and come back home. Oh. Hey! Hello. Welcome to Myers Corporation. How does it feel to be alive? Pretty good, huh? I know you're still a little confused right now, but that's okay. I assure you that you will soon get used to it. Oh? You're asking what your mission is? My dear, patience. We'll get to that. Where should I start? Oh! You know, I have this old friend who's a little mad at me. A little mad that he wants to murder me and destroy my company. So he's made a weapon. A very deadly weapon. We don't know what that weapon is, but a little birdie told me it has something to do with other people's memories. Ah, pretty frightening, right? So, here's what I need you to do. Oh, my apologies. I hope this is about my delivery. Hello? Oh, already? That's awesome! But unfortunately, I'm not at home right now, my friend. Yes, just leave the package at the door. Yes, the entire uniform. Alright, that's great. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Where was I again? That's right. I need you to locate his weapon, and then destroy it. And while you're at it, try to figure out what kind of experiments the guy's up to. And your code name will be... A sudden, tremendous shudder from the legal department snapped me back into reality. What just happened? Ha! Suddenly, a man flew through the wall connecting the lavatory to the legal department, as if he was thrown by something with full force. He was slammed into the wall at the other end of the apartment and then fell to the floor. Is that... Draco? But because of the massive impact, Draco had lost his consciousness. What followed was an inhuman roar from the lab. I could hear the monster's approaching steps. Draco! Draco! I shook Draco violently, but he didn't respond. Draco, wake up! Dang it, what should I do? The basement, quick! I dashed to the elevator and punched the button. Hurry, please be quick. Oh, that was quick. I hurried and dragged Draco into the elevator, then pressed the button to close the door. I could still feel my heart pounding. That monster doesn't seem to be pursuing us. I think we're safe for now. What exactly was that thing? Glant? Draco? Oh, now you decide to wake up. Oh, I'm sorry, Glant. I couldn't stop him. Slowly, Draco stood up. He sounded very weak. Draco, are you okay? No need to worry about me. It's just a few scratches. Stop acting like a hero at a time like this! Draco froze in the face of my emotional outburst. At that moment, we were both just looking at each other and stuck in silence. Draco, are you serious? Stop it with the act. You've been saying strange, incomprehensible bullcrap ever since we met in the lobby. You're badly hurt, yet you're making light of it. You're really starting to make me mad. I don't give a crap about how cool you are. And at this point, I don't really care how many lies you've told me. But I do know that what I'm worried about now is you. You reminded me of that time. Draco's face broke and began to show a deep sorrow, a sadness that I would never expect to see from him. That time? Glant, I'm sorry. If only I had told you the truth earlier. Maybe things wouldn't be the way they are. Draco, there are times when I ask myself, can we go back in time? But for you, our past is long gone. We can go back. We will. That's what we're here for, isn't it? To search for our past? The past we shared? Even if I've completely forgotten you, I'd like to get to know you again. So when we escape from here, please tell me everything about our past. As you wish, Lady Glant. But there is a more urgent issue at hand. Where is he right now? What happened there? What the heck was that thing? He's not a thing. He's someone you already know. The truth is, anytime I'm about to learn something. Venora! I don't know if I did that or if that was a forced prompt. My precious chaser, tell me, is there someone you love? A loved one? My dear Monsieur M, why would you ask such a question? Let's assume one day a disaster were to happen to your loved one. Say they lose their body, but their memories are still intact. Would you still love them like that? Of course I would, no matter what body they change into. They're still them. What a heartwarming answer. Well, let's change the scenario, shall we? Let's say, what if the person you love is physically intact, but has lost all their memories? Would you still love such a person? Of course I would. Even if they lose all their memories, I would still love them. Even if they completely forgot about your existence. Even if all the memories you two shared are gone. This would make me miserable, but I'd still love them. What an amusing answer. Humans have always been able to entertain me. Well then, since you don't mind them losing their body, and you don't mind them losing their memory, what exactly do you love about them? What you love is merely a self-fulfilling illusion. What you love is a person from your past that no longer exists. The brutal truth is, the moment one loses their memory, they will no longer be themselves, and they'll never be able to go back. Shoot. Investigation completed. Successfully retrieved the glove. Guys, Draco's okay! Yay! Crime scene. Are you the new detective? Good to see you here. Just call me Venora. Where is the crime scene? I heard the victim was a former employee of Myers. Yes, room 309. Come with me. Why do I feel like this is me? Move along, people. Nothing to see here. And stop interfering with the work of police officers. Right, here we are. Oh, the trophy. I'll leave the rest to you, Venora. Objective, survey the crime scene. Some paintings hanging on the wall, but the closer you look, the more obvious it is that they're just printouts. I open the curtain. It's the only window in this apartment. The lock appears to not be tampered with, so it's unlikely that the murderer entered through the room here. Was the curtain here closed before? Yes, of course, we haven't moved a thing. Collected evidence, closed curtains. I guess we should investigate the blood pool. The body's already been cleared? The G4 Investigation Bureau sure is efficient. That's correct. As the victim had been dismembered, we were unable to outline the exact location of the body on the floor. However, the autopsy report from the Investigation Bureau has been released. The cause of death was due to rapid dismemberment of the body in a short period of time. So you're saying the murderer dismembered the victim while he was still alive? Yes, it was a very gruesome death. But according to the autopsy report, the victim's head did show signs of being struck by an object, but it was not fatal. In addition, the body displayed signs of a struggle before death, so it's unlikely that he was unconscious for the ordeal. Besides that, there's something else that's strange. Some of the dismembered body parts of the deceased have disappeared. Disappeared? Yes, we couldn't fully reconstruct the victim's body with the pieces left in the room. We searched the entire apartment building, but we couldn't find any of the missing body parts. We did take into consideration that the perpetrator could be non-human, but the report has made it clear that the dismember is not a result of a beast attack. Collected evidence, disappearing body parts. A bloodstained chair, nothing special about it. A bloodstained cabinet, nothing special about it. The door into the apartment. The residents of the apartment building claim that the murderer eluded them and escaped through here. The suspect's name is Almona, a resident on this floor. Oh, something worth mentioning is she's a mutant. A mutant? Is she from G3? We're unsure at the moment. Countless tourists visit G3 district every year to receive modifications. We can't draw any conclusions yet. We thoroughly searched her apartment, but strangely enough, we couldn't find any form of identification. For now, it seems that the murderer has escaped. What about the bloodstains on the hallway outside the apartment? Before we arrived, Dr. Amanon's screams attracted a lot of curious residents. These guys trampled over the entire apartment building, and now there's blood everywhere outside the apartment. Even if there was any useful clues in the hallway, they've probably trampled them into oblivion by now. Collect evidence, the suspect. Is there anything I can assist with, Detective Venora? This is totally us. According to our conversation with the residents of this building, there was a short power outage in the building around when the crime was occurring. However, after our investigation, it seems the building's blackout was not the murderer's work. It was a mere coincidence. So the victim was killed at the exact time of the power outage? Correct. Collected evidence, a brief blackout of the building. The name of the victim is Dr. Richard Amanon, a former researcher at Myers Corporation. According to our investigation, although the victim holds a PhD, his position at Myers was rather unremarkable. We don't know much about his current occupation, but judging by the apartment, it's not hard to deduce that the pay wasn't getting any better. A resident on the same floor claimed to have last seen him in the hallway outside his apartment last night. Allegedly, Dr. Amanon was on the phone at the time and seemed to be talking about some sort of deal. A deal? Collected evidence, Dr. Amanon's deal. A trophy. It's stained with blood. Looks like it was used as a weapon of some kind. Did we find fingerprints from any suspects on the trophy? No, we only managed to collect Dr. Amanon's, but it's worth mentioning the wound on the victim's head matches the shape of the trophy's pointed corner. Collected evidence, bloodstained trophy. Believe I've interacted with all the thingies. Investigation completed. I believe I've gathered enough information to postulate at what might have happened. It's clear that this murder was premeditated. The perpetrator was planning to kill Dr. Emanon from the very beginning. And since the window lacked any signs of forced entry, it's most probable that the culprit entered the apartment directly through the door. That means the murderer was invited into the apartment by Dr. Emanon himself. In other words, our murderer is most likely whoever Dr. Emanon was making his deal with. Nonetheless, in the midst of this, a small mishap occurred. The killer intended to kill Dr. Almanon directly by hitting him on the head with a trophy, but the sudden power failure in the apartment made him miss and he failed to kill Dr. Almanon with a single blow. Which is understandable, no one could anticipate such a freak blackout. However, if the killer's the same person that's behind the other G4 disappearances, then their negligence cannot be attributed to just that. The other victims who went missing disappeared without a trace, as if they'd vanished into thin air. But this time, the murderer messed up the whole apartment and attracted the attention of other residents. If it's really the same perpetrator, there has to be something else that's also contributed to such a major mistake. In fact, the murderer could very well... Seems unlikely that the murderer was in critical condition. Given the current status of Dr. Amnon, I highly doubt that was the case. Okay. The murderer might have had an extreme fear of the dark. The curtains in the apartment were drawn close at the time, and it would have taken a while for human eyes to adjust to the sudden darkness. So at the moment of the blackout... Why do I keep yawning? Dr. Animon's apartment was most likely pitch black. Our cold-blooded assassin, who usually managed to keep so calm and careful, completely lost control in this apartment. It's quite possible that the killer has an extreme fear of sudden darkness due to some form of previous trauma. Sudden darkness. I see. I think I understand now. In addition, the manner of Dr. Amanon's death is a major mystery. The killer dismembered him alive after failing to kill him with a single blow. The way they dismembered him reminds me of how the core members of Myers Corporation were killed. As far as I know, all the core members of Myers were also killed in a similarly brutal way. Add that to the recent disappearances in the G4 district, leaving many citizens paranoid. I guess many people would think that the killer is the same person who killed all the core members. However, I believe that the real reason why the killer tore Dr. Amanon to pieces was to collect his parts. Some of the Dr. Amamon's body parts have gone missing. I don't remember that happening to any of the core members. The real reason why the killer dismembered Dr. Amanon in panic was to obtain his body parts. In the G4 cyborg incident, Myers Corporation was found to be using the human flesh of ordinary G4 citizens as feed for the cyborgs. But since Dr. Anomon did not have any signs of a beast attack, the killer was most likely trying to obtain Dr. Anomon's body parts to use as a feed for cyborgs at a later time. But if they were working for Myers, wouldn't it be more likely that they would want to make a cyborg out of Dr. Amanon? Why would they choose to turn him into cyborg feed instead? Detective Venora? Huh? Yes? Have you reached any conclusions to who the killer was? Put out a warrant for the arrest of Zalmona. She's undoubtedly the perpetrator we've been trying to search for all along. As you wish, Detective Venora. But she's not. She's innocent. The warrant has been issued. But Detective Venora, would you mind coming outside with me for a moment? There are some important matters I'd like to discuss with you. I followed him to the street outside the apartment. It was getting quite late, and the temperature had dropped quite dramatically. Wait, Venora's a he, apparently. According to what Draco said. So he can't be Venora. But he was just walking in front of me silently, as if the cold weather did not bother him. After a while, he finally stopped at an alley. After a while, he finally stopped in an alley where no one was nearby. Alleyway. What was it that you wanted to discuss? I decided to speak first. Well then, let's hear it. Who's the actual killer? Excuse me? You're called the inspector. You don't even realize who I am this whole time. The man in front of me slowly took off his police hat. Well, I thought it was a sight that I couldn't have expected. Whoa, it's you! He suddenly grabbed a corner of his cheek and tore the skin off his head. What was revealed beneath it was blue skin and white hair. It's you! Oh, he's got a tail. But him revealing his true form only made me more vigilant. Inspector, it appears the fact that you still see me as a threat. Believe it or not, I don't have time to play Mr. Triple Agent for that stupid organization from G3. What are you doing here? What else can I be doing here? Our boss gave me clear instructions to make sure you succeeded in your mission. But it seems that you have everything under control. However, you know very well who the actual killer is, don't you? Just what the heck happened back there? I thought he was good at this. How could he screw things up so badly? Why don't you just go ask him yourself? You're as tough as ever. Suit yourself then. I don't really give a crap about that guy's past. But do we really have to pin it on that woman from the same floor? Each sacrifices for the future of the company. Each one is necessary. Our boss is really getting to you, isn't he? Company this, company that. That's all he ever talks about. All of us are merely little pawns in his hands. What'd you say? No offense, but this has nothing but a job to me. I'm not trying to debate the ethics of what we do, nor am I interested in his grand vision. And why don't you use your brain once and think about what you truly want instead of being a slave to his company all day? What I truly want? You know, finding the love of your life, forming a family, that sort of thing. Don't end up like me, an old guy who still doesn't have a single clue what he should be doing for his life. It's been an exhausting day. I'll see you later. He was about to turn to leave, but he suddenly stopped again. He once again turned his head to me. Lenora, did you come up with that name yourself? Yes. The ever so gloomy look of his face unusually perked up out of nowhere. I didn't think you'd be so good at naming yourself. That's a really nice name. Why don't you keep it for yourself? With that, he put on his police hat again. See you later, Venora. Make sure you report to that guy on time. He's kind of a jerk about that. I act carefully. With that, he disappeared across the street and once again became part of the crowd. Finding the love of my life and starting my own family. Is that still possible for someone like me? What am I thinking? No matter what, my mission here is accomplished. As long as the G4 Investigation Bureau can't figure out who the true killer is, everything will still be under control. It's time for me to move on to my next destination and complete my next mission. G4 Suburbs. The mansion of Myers' former lawyer and traitor, Vincent Odgeworth. Wait a minute. But I thought that couldn't be me because... Never mind. Vincent Odgeworth! That name! I remember now! That man is far more frightening than Myers. I've been set up! I have to get out of here! Is that my name I'm hearing, Glant? Or should I call you... Venora? Oh no! Chapter 3. The End. And I'm afraid that's where I'm going to end the video, because that is a cliffhanger that is too good to pass up on. Uh, we're going to continue this immediately Friday. So, thank you for tuning in, everyone. I'm going to head out for now, but we'll be back, don't you worry. Have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day you're having. Have a good one, and we'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.